This video was sponsored by Nokiar, which is backwards for Raycon. The Raycon Everyday E25 wireless earbuds are about half the price of other premium wireless earbuds. They're super low profile and comfortable, and they offer a meaty, bassy listening experience. But Arlo, what if I'm chilling out and I don't want meat and bass? That's easy. Just create a custom EQ profile in your preferred music app and bring the bass down a bit. That's what I do, and I can easily switch back and forth as needed. Either way, the sound quality is great. They can last up to 6 hours on a charge, and this convenient, this convenient case can charge them further, giving you up to 24 hours total. But Arlo, what if I don't want them to last up to 24 hours? What? Why would you not want? What if all of this is a dream? What's going on? What if nothing is real? I don't... What if you can get 15% off the Raycon Everyday E25s at buyraycon.com/Arlo? Oh, yeah, that's a good... What if I'm you from the future? Ah! Hey, is it? Hello there, my beautiful friends. However are you today? It's very good to see you. So, recently Nintendo revealed Pikmin 3 Deluxe coming to the Switch. If you know me, you will know that this brought very much joyful, happy feelings to my heart places. It made lots of laughters and happies, but however, little did I know that there was darkness lurking below the surface. A part of this tale ended up being very grim indeed. Not really. What I will say is this video is something of a crossover. Roberta! Come on here, come here, girl. If you don't watch the Nintendo News Roundup, Roberta is my high horse. She's always grazing in the grassy field outside of my office. That's it's a real field. Roberta, I got a nice shiny apple for you here. Yep, there you go, girl. Yep, let me just climb up onto Roberta, my high horse, before getting into this video. So now that I'm up here, and it's very comfy up here. So as I said, Nintendo revealed Pikmin 3 Deluxe, and apparently, simultaneously, they removed the digital version of Pikmin 3 from the Wii U eShop. And if you didn't know, the Wii U eShop is still there. People are still able to purchase Wii U games digitally, all of the major ones. Except for one other. The other one that was removed is Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Now, you might be wondering how these two titles are similar. Why did these titles specifically get removed from the eShop? Well, the disappointing answer is that these two games were in the Nintendo Selects line, meaning that they had sold over a certain number of units or whatever, and Nintendo decided to make them $20 titles. It's, it's the thing where it gets the special packaging, and it's 20 bucks MSRP. So far, these are the only two Wii U titles in the Nintendo Selects range to come to the Switch. So it is obvious that Nintendo, they didn't like the idea of the announcement of Pikmin 3 coming to the Switch, getting people kind of excited about Pikmin, and then saying like, well, I don't need to wait and buy it on Switch when I could just go and buy it on my Wii U for $20 instead of $60, which is what the deluxe version will be. They wanted to prevent people from being able to do that, just as they did with Tropical Freeze. They didn't like that they were still selling it for $20. They couldn't do much about the physical copies that were already out in the wild, but they could do something about the digital version on the eShop. And this is, in my opinion, petty. It's just kind of gross. It's like you're offering a product, you sell the product. I understand that eventually they will stop offering certain products, but like targeting these specifically just to stop people from going and getting the cheaper, older version, it's just kind of lame. It feels like a fairly anti-consumer practice to me. And it would be different if the Wii U eShop itself were going away. You know, I wouldn't like that. The Wii U's only been gone a couple of years. You should keep that stuff around for a while for people who, I don't know, still have them or still getting them. You know, just keep it around for as long as you can. But, like, it would almost be more understandable if Nintendo was like, you know what, let's just get rid of the Wii U stuff. Tell everybody, hey, everybody, if you want to buy stuff on your Wii U, do it now because the service is closing. You know, they did that with the Wii. They've done that before. That would almost be more understandable. Even if they were doing that because they wanted people to purchase their games on the Switch instead and they just wanted to shutter the whole entire old thing, I would almost understand that more. But at least that would give people some notice. This was no notice at all. They announced the game and they removed it instantly. Again, just like they did with Tropical Freeze. And no, Tropical Freeze never came back. It is still not available on the eShop. I doubt it ever will be again. It just kind of feels gross, is where I'm coming from. It just kind of feels like a trick. You know what I mean? Like, it never feels good when it feels like a company is playing a trick on us. Especially like, what if that kind of person did exist? Oh man. You know what? I never picked Pikmin up from my Wii U, and I don't have a Switch yet, but everybody's talking about how excited they are for it. Maybe I'll go and get it. I know it's only 20 bucks. I can't anymore. And it's like, that type of person can't possibly exist in very big numbers. You know, one could argue, well, I mean, it's not like that many people are going to be inconvenienced by it. Like, you have to see, okay, Wii U owners, already a pretty small bunch. About 13 million, which is very small for a home console. And then even from those, people who could be convinced, could be persuaded into buying Pikmin 3, but haven't yet. Also very, very small. Most of the people who have a Wii U and wanted to play Pikmin 3, they already did it. Those numbers are pretty much done. So you're looking at a very small amount of people who never did, who saw this announcement and went, that would be cool. It's gotta be pretty microscopic, right? And that, to me, is almost what makes it worse. Do you know what I'm saying? That almost makes it feel more petty. That they would feel the need to, like, intercept this very small number of people and prevent them from buying a $20 game instead of a $60 game. I mean, I know it's a pretty big difference between 20 and 60, but it can't be that many people. And it's like, the fact that they were willing to go out of their way to stop those people, despite possibly even knowing that this would be a slight PR hit, that people would get upset about it. And like, okay, you could argue easily that maybe Nintendo didn't know. They didn't know that we would get that upset. I often feel like they are very, very clueless when it comes to certain PR decisions that they have made and when they interact with people. Sometimes it feels like they legitimately don't know that people are gonna get upset about a thing. It's possible, but assuming that they do know, it just, it feels just so calculated, and that's what makes it feel more gross. They're like, okay, there's gonna be some articles and people are not gonna like that we do this, but that like grossness, that little PR hit, it's worth it. We've assessed the risk and everything, and yeah, it's worth it just to save a few bucks on a few people, because ultimately they know it's not gonna be a big deal. It's not gonna close down the company. It's not gonna cause a big giant campaign against them. It's not going to prevent anyone from buying the game. It'll prevent the people who wanted to buy it for 20 bucks. If they don't have a Switch yet, then yeah, maybe they'll just kind of not. And that's what's kind of funny about this is like, you could potentially be preventing people from buying it at all. You know, like, it's a good thing that this hype has built up for the game again, and that could be like, oh, I don't have a Switch yet. I don't plan on getting a Switch. I have a Wii U. I was gonna get it. I mean, they still could, physically, of course, but if they wanted the nice $20 digital one, they can. So they're preventing those people, but they know that, like, I'm gonna buy the game. I'm obviously gonna buy the game. Everybody I know that's looking forward to the game, they were not deterred by this little thing. But then again, the fact that it could be so calculated like that is just kind of what feels gross about it. How it's like, how often are they at their company kind of like weighing these like slightly shady decisions and being like, well, yeah, but have you considered how we're Nintendo and they're gonna buy it anyway? You know, I mean, like, It's been, I mean, you know, there are much bigger topics. You know, there's the whole Joy-Con thing. I talked about it a ton in the video I did on how Nintendo's hardware quality is just really, really lacking this generation. In that context, the idea of they'll buy it anyway is a lot more serious. Compared to that, this is peanuts. This is small beans right here. But I still can't help but just imagining them, just being like, just making the decision and being like, yeah, but they'll buy it anyway. And I just have to wonder, like, how far does that go? You know, how how small and petty are they willing to get because they know that it's not going to be, you know, there'll be the articles and there'll be the people being upset and then it'll be over and then it'll be done. And from a business standpoint, I don't know, I suppose someone could argue that that's fine. That's a calculation that they make. It's a risk and they just do it and they know it's going to be fine. And in the end, it increases their bottom line or whatever. Personally, if I'm running a business, I feel that goodwill is very important. Again, this won't damage the goodwill permanently for anybody. And yet I still feel like it's important, especially because you're not even saving that much money. Not that many people are gonna go buy the digital version on the Wii U eShop. So it's like, just take the hit, you know? Like, take the teeny tiny hit to not have the articles and the angry comments and stuff. Because that kind of stuff builds up, even if it's not gonna, you know, it's not likely to be the straw that broke the camel's back for anybody. There are plenty of people who feel very disenfranchised about Nintendo's various decisions, and you don't want to add more fuel to that fire, you know? You don't want to be any amount of straws on a camel's back or anything like that. I think it's just more important to just be like, whatever, pro-consumer. We give you options. If you have a Wii U, congratulations, you're in the club that gets to buy Pikmin for $20. You know what I mean? No one bought a Wii U. Some people did. You are our core audience. You stick with us through thick and thin. You got a system that didn't even do that well. You did it. You get the $20 Pikmin. There you go. Like, that's fine. That would be perfectly reasonable. But that's not what they did. They did what they did, and I just don't like it. It's just an anti-consumer move. It's not a giant anti-consumer move. It's a little one. It's a sneaky one. But it is, though. You offered a product, and then you kind of pulled the rug out from a couple people's under their feet just because you didn't like the idea of them buying the cheaper one. It almost makes you wonder, like, if you had a magic wand that you could wave and it would delete all of the Nintendo Select's physical copies from existence, would you do it? Like, are you only doing this because you can? Because you have the ability to pull the plug? Are you, like, mad that the physical ones still exist out there? I don't really know. I will say, though, I've seen a few people say this, and it's true. If you have a Wii U and you haven't bought Super Mario 3D World and you think you might want to, and you don't have a Switch, get it now, because that is, like, Mario Kart never hit Nintendo Selects. Pokken never hit Nintendo Selects. Because we've had a lot of Wii U games come over to the Switch, but none of the other ones were in the Nintendo Selects, or if they were, they weren't added to, they weren't Selects in every region. And so right now, I'd say the two most major titles in the Wii U Selects range are Mario 3D World and Wind Waker. So yeah, get them now if you don't have a Switch, but you want to get them cheap on your Wii U, because if Nintendo... Wind Waker, I'm kind of iffy on. I don't know if they ever will, but 3D World is almost a given at this point. We're all just waiting for them to do it, and when that happens, I have no doubt that they will be removing it from the Wii U eShop. Which is... hey, there's another point there. This is another reason this is kind of an anti-consumer move, is... I bought Pikmin 3 digitally originally. What if something happens to the file? Sometimes stuff will mess up with the file and you'll have to, like, re-download it. I can't anymore. It won't matter because I have my Switch version, but, like, someone could be in that position. Someone could just need to transfer a file, or they delete it on accident because they're making room and they think they can download it again later, and they go and they just can't. It's not, I don't know, maybe you could, I'm not 100% sure on that. It's possible that you just can't buy it anymore. I'm unsure if you can still download it or not. So jury's out on that one, I'm sorry. Whatever the case though, not that big a deal in the long run, but I feel that it is my job. I have two very important jobs as a Nintendo YouTuber. One, I am a big Nintendo shill who just, according to people on the internet, who just has to say everything Nintendo does is great. And then I also have to be the biggest Nintendo hater who does nothing but complain about what they do and never says anything good and never makes any positive videos ever. Those are the two jobs that I have to maintain, that I have to do those jobs, and so I would be remiss not to bring up some fresh hating for you up here on Roberta, my high horse. You've been very, very patient, Roberta. Thank you, good girl. You've been just sitting here. Here's another shiny apple for you. Let me know what you think about all this. Is this kind of like, who cares? Is this kind of like, no, this is a really big deal, and it makes me even more mad at Nintendo than I was before? Are you one of the people who were like, you know what? That game does look cool. I'm gonna go buy it on my Wii U. I can't anymore. What? Whatever the case, please let me know down in the comments. Also, talk about Pikmin, because this is technically a video about Pikmin in its own way. It's more about the eShop and Nintendo's practices, but I'm gonna say it's also about Pikmin, which means that we have to have a lot of really nice Pikmin-related discussions down in the comments, because we don't get enough opportunities to do that. So please, just head on down there and just start typing the word Pikmin. Just, who even cares? Just type out Pikmin, Pikmin 2, Pikmin! Hey, Pikmin! Pikmin 3! Talk about anything. Pikmin short movies. Go nuts. Anyway, thank you for watching. I love you. Have a wonderful day.